Good evening and welcome to the Bellevue City Council meeting, Monday, October the 10th, 2016, 6 p.m. First item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, and our Pledge of Allegiance this evening will be with Fairview Elementary School, Troop 4258. So please rise, and Maddie will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you and have a good evening. Thank you. Steve, I was looking for you to tell her to put her hand on her heart. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Item number 2, Sabrina, please call roll.
Tough act to follow, but okay. Mr. Carmichael.
Here.
Mr. Hanson.
Here.
Mr. Cook.
Here.
Mr. Preister.
Here.
Mr. Modry.
Here.
Mrs. Blood.
Present.
Item 2A, this meeting will be conducted according to the Open Meetings Act posted in the council chambers. Item 3, approval of agenda, consent agenda, minutes, and advisory committee reports. 3A, approval of agenda. Mr. Cook.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Blood. Any discussion or questions? See none, please vote.
All voted yes.
Thank you. 3B, approval of consent agenda. Councilman Blood.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Mr. Preister. Discussion or questions? See none, please vote.
All voted yes.
Thank you. Item 3C and D, under consent agenda. Item 4, approval of claims under consent agenda. Item 5, organizational matters. 5A, approval of appointment of Joe Mangiamelli as city administrator. Just want to read a note here before we continue forward. This evening, I'm asking for approval of Joe Mangiamelli as Bellevue City Administrator. This is the second time in my time as your mayor that I've had the pleasure to interview Mr. Mangiamelli for your city administrator. Once again, he has risen to the top of all the applicants in the area. In the posting of job descriptions, training, certification, experience, and he lives locally. While going through the selection process alongside with Karen Jackson and Ashley Clark, it was once made known that who the finalists were. I had numerous phone calls from messages, emails, visits in the grocery store, as well as comments on social media, and they were all positive to endorse Mr. Mangiamelli, 100%. Along with the current mayor of Columbus, Lynn Rex of the League of Municipality, all agreed Mr. Mangiamelli is the right choice for Bellevue. I would ask the council if there are any additional questions for Mr. Mangiamelli that you ask them here this evening, and I believe Mr. Mangiamelli is here this evening. Is he here? Yes. There you are. So do we have any questions? Councilman Blood.
No, Mayor, I would just like to make a motion that we approve the appointment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Thank you. Any questions, discussions, comments? See none, please vote.
All voted yes.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Mangiamelli. Mr. Mangiamelli, would you like to come forward and just say a few words?
Joe Mangiamelli, Mayor, thank you for your confidence. Council members, thank you for your trust. I hope to earn it. Thank you.
Thank you. Look forward to working with you. On to item number 6, special presentations. 6A, proclamation, October 2016 as Fire Prevention Month and Fire Rescue Appreciation. Do we have anyone here this evening to receive the proclamation? City of Bellevue, Nebraska, Office of the Mayor proclamation. Whereas each year during the month of October, fire departments across the country take the opportunity to remind citizens of the devastating impact fire has on each one of us. And whereas public safety is top priority in the city of Bellevue. And whereas this year's Fire Prevention Month theme from the National Fire Protection Association is, "Hear the beep where you sleep. Every bedroom needs a working smoke alarm." And whereas single-family residents continue to account for the vast majority of fire deaths. And whereas in Bellevue, our own dedicated firefighters and paramedics answered all day long and night, thousands of times last year in the effort to help people in need. And whereas the month of October has been selected not only as Fire Prevention Month, but also time of the year where we honor our firefighters for their exemplary courage and dedication to the Bellevue community. And whereas the Bellevue Public Safety Foundation will be distributing free red light bulbs, asking Bellevue residents to shine a red light at their homes nightly in October because the light shall shine in the darkness and the darkness will not overcome it. And whereas the City of Bellevue acknowledged the tax dollars spent on fire prevention and public education continue to be an excellent investment in making Bellevue a safe fire community. Now therefore, I, Bellevue Mayor Rita Sanders, and the Bellevue City Council do hereby proclaim the month of October 2016 as both Fire Prevention Month and Fire and Rescue Appreciation Month in the municipality of Bellevue, Nebraska, and we call upon all citizens to educate themselves on important fire and life safety issues. Thank you. Did you want to? Okay. Carrie went to stay up here. And item 6B, proclamation, October 2016, as White Ribbon Against Pornography Month. Please come forward. Welcome. Whereas pornography degrades and dehumanizes both female and male participants, and whereas pornography presents youth with a false and distorted image of human sexuality, devoid of love, commitment, and responsibility, and whereas pornography features criminal and other antisocial behaviors, including adultery, bestiality, incest, child abuse, prostitution, teen promiscuity, unsafe sex, and the degradation of rape and tortures of women, and whereas pornography can lead males and females into sexual addiction that prevent and tear marriages and relationships apart. Whereas the explosion of obscenity creates the demand for women and children trafficked into sexual slavery nationally and in our own backyards here in Bellevue, Nebraska. And whereas the Supreme Court has ruled the First Amendment does not protect obscenity and that legitimate governmental interest, and furthered by enforcing laws including the protection of morality, public safety, the community environment, and family life. And whereas a large majority of area citizens believe that viewing pornographic websites and videos is morally unacceptable and support the promotion of education and available resources for those affected by pornography and human trafficking. Now therefore, I, Rita Sanders, Mayor of the City of Bellevue, and the Bellevue City Council do hereby proclaim October 2016 as White Ribbon Against Pornography Month in the city of Bellevue, Nebraska, and encourage all citizens to wear or display white ribbons as a sign of their commitment to community, standards of decency, and their support for enforcement of laws against obscene materials. Catholic Daughters of America, Court 2036, Our Lady of Perpetual Adoration from St. Mary's Parish has created a website, www.realmendon'texploit.com, with resources for those who have loved ones with porn addiction and for anyone who wishes to learn more about the fight against porn and support the enforcement of the obscenity law. Thank you for what you do. Would you like to say a few words?
This is the Catholic Daughters' 4th year doing the billboard. And the billboard is not meant to give you moral lessons. The billboard is meant to drive people to education. And the dichotomy that we always seem to ignore is that pornography creates a huge feeder for human trafficking. And in one hand, we're constantly saying that human trafficking is bad, which of course it is. But if we don't address the feeder, then we feel that sometimes that's kind of hypocritical. And so we're just asking people to be acutely aware of what their children see on the computers, because as many of us know, it's happened right in our own backyard where our own children have been human trafficked, have been sex slaves. It was just in the Omaha World Herald, I think, a month ago. And again, we're not trying to go into your bedrooms. We just want to make sure that the information is available so you can educate yourself and you can help family members that may be in need of help. The billboard's theme this year is, "Are you driving your family away?"
Item 7, liquor license none. Item 8, ordinance for adoption, third reading. 8A, ordinance number 3858. Sabrina, please read the ordinance.
Ordinance number 3858. An ordinance to amend section 4.11, ordinance number 3619, Bellevue zoning ordinance relating to exceptions and encroachments in required yards, to repeal such section as heretofore existing, to provide an effective date of the ordinance, and to provide for the publication of this ordinance in pamphlet form.
Councilman Blood.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Mr. Carmichael. Any discussion or questions? See none, please vote.
All voted yes.
Thank you. 8B, ordinance number 3859, rezoning tax lots 5A, 54, and 6A. Sabrina, please read the ordinance.
Ordinance number 3859, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the city of Bellevue, Nebraska, as provided for by Article 3 of ordinance number 3619, by changing the zone classification of land located at 8614 Cedar Island Road, more particularly described in section 1 of the ordinance, and to provide an effective date.
Thank you. Councilman Preister.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve ordinance number 3859.
Second.
Second by Mr. Modry. Any discussion or questions? See none, please vote.
All voted yes.
Thank you. Item 9, none. Item 10, ordinance for introduction, first reading. 10A, ordinance number 3860. Sabrina, please read the ordinance.
Ordinance number 3860, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the city of Bellevue, Nebraska, as provided for by Article 3 of ordinance number 3619, by changing the zone classification of land located at or about West 35th Avenue and Franklin Place, more particularly described in section 1 of the ordinance and to provide an effective date.
Thank you. The second reading and public hearing will be October the 24th on this item. Item 11, public hearing on matters other than ordinance, none. 12, resolutions, none. 13, current business. 13A, B, and C is under consent agenda. 13D, discussion on rescue billing. Are there any questions or discussions on rescue billing? See none, thank you. 13E, renewal of property casualty insurance for fiscal year 2016 to 2017. Mr. Carmichael.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve renewal of the property casualty insurance for fiscal year 2016-17.
Second.
Second by Councilman Blood. Any discussion or questions? See none, please vote.
All voted yes.
Thank you. 13F, request approval of proposal and accept bid from Ken Brook Roofing for emergency repair on roof at the Bellevue Public Library in the amount of $135,000 and $135,175, and authorize the mayor to sign the contract. Thank you, Councilman Blood.
Motion to approve in the amount of $135,175 and to authorize Mayor Sanders to sign the contract.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cook. Any discussions or questions? See none, please vote.
All voted yes.
Thank you. 13G, request approval of customer agreement with OPPD for the ECO 24/7 SM retrofit optimization service and lighting upgrades for the 5 fire department facilities, and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement. Mr. Preister.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that we do approve this customer agreement with OPPD for the ECO 24/7 SM retrofit and optimization services and lighting upgrades for the 5 fire department facilities, and authorize Mayor Sanders to sign the agreement.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cook. Any discussion or questions? Mr. Modry.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, this is $203,111. Does that include the tax, or that's without taxes on that?
So that'd be Public Works, Jeff Roberts.
Yeah, Jeff?
You talking sales tax?
Yeah,
We don't have sales tax. We're exempt from that.
right. Any other fees or taxes that may
No.
go with it?
No, that's
So
the price
that'll be
they,
the total?
yes.
Okay. And that's not budgeted, but for this year, right?
That's correct.
And the payback, you're looking,
Payback is 5.5 years.
okay, so given government estimates, probably 6.5 years. Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions, discussion? See none, please vote.
All voted yes.
Thank you. 13H, accept low proposal from Platonic Construction for demolition and removal of debris at 7801 South 30th Street in the amount of $9,950, and authorize the mayor to sign the proposal. Mr. Carmichael.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to accept the low proposal for Polonsek Construction for demolition and removal of debris at 7801 South 30th Street in the amount of $9,950, and authorize the mayor to sign the proposal.
Second.
Second by Councilman Blood. Discussion or questions? See none, please vote.
All voted yes.
Thank you. 13I, approve the collaboration agreement for the assessment of fair housing for HUD, HUD, and authorize mayor to sign the agreement. Councilwoman Blood.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Mr. Preister. Any discussion or questions? See none, please vote.
Vote is 5-1. Motion carries.
Thank you. 13J, approval of the post-completion project service agreement between the city and Offutt Air Force Base, America First Communities, LLC. Councilman Blood.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second, Mr. Preister. Any discussion, questions? See none, please vote.
All voted yes.
Thank you. Item 14, administration reports. Comments be limited to items on the current report. Are there any questions? Comments? See none. Moving on to item number 15, public request to be heard. Any members of the public addressing the council shall abide by council policy resolution number 35 regarding the principles of conduct and decorum, which states any statements made during the city council meeting by the mayor, members of the city council, city official, and employees, or members of the general public shall not involve personal, impertinent, or slanderous attacks on individuals, regardless of whether the individual so attacks an elected official, a city official or employee, or member of the general public, and city Code Section 2-68 regarding the matters of addressing the council. Copies of the aforementioned rules are posted outside the council chambers. Speakers shall limit their presentation to 5 minutes.
Mr. Sullivan, I have to apologize. Last meeting, you weren't here, and I had a dress sticker to put on, not a stamp, instead of signing my name, but I forgot to bring one tonight, but I'll sign right now. Chuck Frederick, 1511 Madison Street. The last few times I've talked about dog parks and having more in the city, I've gotten quite a few comments about that. That they're easy to maintain, it doesn't take much to put them up. I want to thank Beardmore Subaru for putting their little dog park in there. I can't think of a better way for community betterment money to be used. We could use a dog park in West in Ward 5 and one down in South Bellevue. So I hope that the council will consider trying to do something on that, because that's exactly what community betterment money should be used for. The other thing is that I want to give Councilman Carmichael the credit, or the major role he played in getting Mr. Manginelli here. And he should have been our city administrator 6 years ago, but at least we have him now, and I think this is a step forward. So, Mr. Carmichael, I want to thank you for what you did in order to get him, Mr. Manginelli, to apply. The other thing is that my website, chuckfrederick.com, I would certainly encourage people to look at that, because I have my suggestions who should be in the city council, and I feel that it would be very important for people to take a look at that at my website, chuckfrederick.com. Do thank you for your time, and that's it.
Are there others? See none, I'll close the public request to be heard. Item number 16, executive session. Councilwoman Blood.
For the protection of the public interest and for the prevention of needless injury to the reputation of an individual, I move to go into an executive session to discuss personnel matters, discussion on contract negotiations for the city administrator, and real estate negotiations for city property near 1315 Bluff Street.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cook. Any discussion or questions? See none, please vote.
All voted yes.
Thank you. It is now 6:29, and we will go into executive session as stated by Councilwoman Blood.